this is Cindy, Creating the Heart, and I'm back with the start of what I hope is a new series. I don't know that I'm going to be publishing all of these videos like right away because I need to work on them, and I like to do other things too. But I have stacks of these. These are reflections. They're the 5x7 cards and envelopes from Reflections. I think I have craft, black, white, stacks of them. So I cleaned out a cabinet that I have, like an end table, and it has like storage, and I found just stacks of them, along with some ribbon that I'm probably going to be destashing, and just so much. So I thought, there's got to be lots of projects I can do to also use up paper I've been hoarding, and and exploring some other projects. Now, this one's not necessarily exploring new projects because this is what we're going to be making. So this is, let's see here. So this is a junk journal made with envelopes, and this is one that I actually made and filled. So you can kind of see what you can do with it. I'm kind of keeping it maybe a little bit more simple, I guess, because I don't know what I'm making this for. But anyway, this is the junk journal that we're going to be making, at least, to start off with, and we'll see how I do in making this. So what you need is a paper collection. So I'm using this Wander by My Mind's Eye, and I only had 4 sheets of paper, 2 different, actually it's like 4 sheets of paper, and only 2 different patterns, but they're double-sided, so I didn't have tons of paper. I'm using probably these stickers, so this is all the Wanderlust stuff that I have that I'm probably going to try and find ways to incorporate it into this junk journal, and we'll see how I do. And then, so I also, something to poke holes with. I've had this forever. This is an awl, AWL. I've had it for a million years, but I mean, there's other things you can use to poke holes. We don't have that. I've got my stack of paper, and I'll go over that when we get to this kind of section of, what you could put in your junk. You can put anything. I mean, I put all kinds of stuff in that one. And I'll be doing other junk journals too with you guys. Your paper for your front, your back, your inside. Like I said, I'm keeping it very simple. You can divvy it up, change it up however you want. Your cards and envelopes. This is for the spine. I have a needle. This is waxed thread, but in that one I used like twine. I mean, you can use whatever you want to help sew and bind your book, and it's not crazy sewing. And then I've got some wet glue as well as my ATG. So whatever floats your boat. So I did do something off camera, and that is I scored at half an inch. So I gave myself a half an inch gusset on 2 of the envelopes. Okay, and then all you have to do is fit one envelope in the other and make sure that you've created that gusset. Now, you could, if you wanted to, just seal one part of this. You could create a pocket back here if you want. I actually don't want that for this album. So I'm just going to kind of close this really quickly just so that it's not bothersome. But yeah, so let's see. Let's get this in here the way that I want it. And all right, so there you go. So there you've got basically your album. Really, really simple. It's pretty much ready to go. I am going to cover, now you can kind of decide whether you want the thread to show or not show. And I've decided that I don't want the thread to show, so I'm going to put my papers on except for my spine piece. So I've already cut my front and my back. Now you can use this with any envelopes and cards that you want, or any envelopes that you have on hand. It works just as well. I just happen to have these ones from my mind's eye. So it's kind of wonky, but that's okay. So I'm just going to use my ATG for the front and the back. And this is this Wander paper. And I just had enough for this project. So I thought that this would be a great one. And since I made a couple of these before, I thought this would be a great one to get my feet wet in doing this. And so I've got a list of about 10 different ideas and different types of albums and things that I could use to use up that. Oh, I used it the wrong side. Crap. Use up those cards and envelopes. And I wish I could show you the stack, but they're buried because I'm getting ready to get my living room painted. So I have some stuff stored. I have a big bookcase in my living room, and I have all of that stuff in my craft room. And one of the other things I'm thinking about doing, which I think is probably going to be considered, maybe I do want to do both sides like this. I will do both sides like this. It's going to be considered sacrilegious, and that is I'm thinking about taking apart all my old scrapbook albums. They just take up so much space. I'm thinking about putting all my pictures, scanning all my pictures, and putting them on my external hard drive, and just getting rid of all my old pictures. I don't know. In my old age, I just want less stuff. Not less craft stuff, but less like stuff. And then this will be the spine piece. So that's the spine piece. I guess it's okay. That's the same front and back. I actually hadn't planned it that way, but it worked out. So then I've got these two pieces that are going to go on the inside, here and here. And then I'll talk about what I did for my inside papers. I'll have to see about how hard it will be to decorate on camera or not. And so what you could do is you could not seal this on the side if you wanted a pocket on the side, but I find it's really hard to get stuff in and out of that pocket. So for me, it just doesn't work. I'm not a big fan of that. So that's all me. All right. So I don't know. I might do some decorate. I don't know. I'm deciding about whether I want to do a decorating piece or not for this. So that'll just be something I work on or not. And okay, so here we go. Now for the inside pieces, I don't know if I'm going to use the ATG, but put that down, is I used all but the scrappiest of scraps in here. And I just cut them and folded them in various lengths. And because I'm doing this as a tutorial, it was my craft room was kind of a mess. It was just what I could get, what I could get to. I had some paper that I had dyed with some coffee, or maybe it was tea. I don't know if it's tea or coffee. I have this ledger paper, which I think I showed that recently in a haul, but I don't see where it is. I got this paper. It's by Park Lane, and it's like a map paper, but also has ledger paper in it. It's like a map and ledger paper. It's an 8x8 sheet. And so that's what this is from, as long as there's also a map in there too. So this one I folded over and made into a pocket. Here's that map paper, which I also folded over and made it so it could have a pocket, and I'll probably glue the edges or staple them or something when I get to that part. I put one of the cards in here, and then in the middle I put a doily, and here's the other side of everything. So this actually folds out. So Okay, now here's all the pages. This one folds out like that. So I could either leave it folded out, or I could attach it both, and it could be a pocket here. So I haven't really decided. And you could put as much or as little, and you can see from what I did that these are super simple. I didn't do anything crazy in terms of doing my pages. Let's see, I have a couple of clips here. And so I want to sew this down. So I want to make sure that I've got everything lined up where I want it to be. And so I'm going to clip and clip. All right, so I've clipped it. It's looking pretty good. Not worried about this because I'm going to glue this down. It probably is a little bit long, but no worries. Okay, so then I'm going to take my awl. Make sure it's straight. All right, I'm going to take my awl, and I'm going to stab it through right in the middle. Then I'm going to stab. Now, if you want to be like super exact, you could like measure and all that stuff, but trust me when I tell you that it doesn't matter. You don't need to measure it. It'll still be amazing. Okay, so you've stabbed your 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I've got my needle and my twine. That last book I showed you, I used twine, which I don't know where my twine is. I feel like looking for it. I just happen to have this waxed thread, so why not? And then I have a giant eye on this embroidery needle, so I have a whole thing. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go in. So I'm going to go in through the middle. I'm going to leave myself a nice tail. All right, and then I'm going to go in through the top hole. And this one is not cooperating because it's going through the top hole somehow. This one I'm going to have to fight a little bit, looks like. So, all right, there we go. Okay. So, then I'm going to go through the middle again. Okay. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to go over the top. It's kind of like, and then I'm going to go in the middle. And then I'm going to tie it. in a knot. There's all different ways you can tie it, but this one I saw a tutorial for, and this is the way I tied my other ones. And then I'm going to tie it, and then I'm going to put a little bow, because I'm going to go ahead and keep it. And then I've got some scissors here. I'm going to trim the edges. Okay, there's that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to use my wet glue, and don't worry, after we put ribbon on it, and you know what, I'm going to put some thing to tie it with, and darn if I don't have, I think I wanted to use, what color is this, green. Hold on, let me see if I have what I'm looking for. And let's see. Okay. All right. Before I do my spine, I'm going to use some seam binding. So make it nice and long. And I'm going to do some seam binding. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just put a little strip to kind of hold it down a little bit. Not too concerned about holding it down too much because it's going to be tied, you know. So just kind of holding it in place. Okay. All right. Okay, so no worries on that. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. So all I'm going to do is this is just a strip that's about a little less than 7 inches tall by 2 inches. It was a scrap. And I just scored it. I went to the 1 inch line and I scored the little hashtag, little hash mark before the 1 and then after the 1. Okay. Now, let's make sure everything is the right way. Okay. And okay. So now I've got these cards, and I already decided I was going to use this card right here for the front. And I'll probably glue down some trim. I just haven't decided on the trim yet. I'll probably decorate off camera mostly. So here's this. And then I decided that I wanted to use the puffy stickers for the front. Because they're raised, I just thought it would be better to have it on the front. So I think I'm going to do this Explore. So I like to put a little bit of glue on stickers usually because I find that they don't just stick very well. So let's do that. So if I do any kind of trim on the front or in the book at all, if I don't like staple it, then I usually hot glue any kind of ribbon or trim usually. And I am loving this, considering I didn't have a lot of this paper. I just happen to have a lot of pieces that go with the collection. So I was like, well, hopefully that will give me enough, you know, for variety. And so there's that. And then I thought like this little arrow would be really cute, like pointing the way, you know, to the album. And there we go. Okay, so as far as my front cover goes, I'm really happy with that. I would like maybe some sort of a trim right here. You know, maybe some trim right here and also on the back to kind of anchor my ribbon down, you know, to make it anchor my ribbon down. So I'll probably do that off camera because that's heating on my hot glue, and I have like hot glue anxiety, letting you guys see how I do like my hot glue. But this is like a good place to do some sort of a, what do you call it, a pocket. So in terms of pieces that I have kind of am working on, let me show you. So in that 8x8 Park Lane from Joann's paper pad that I got, that's maps. It came with ledgers, and then it also came with some cut-aparts that work for travel journals. So I cut those out of the paper, so I'll find a way to maybe use those. I've got stickers and other doodads, and then this is all the paper that I have left, which isn't, you know, a ton of paper. So it was like, well, do I want to do like some sort of a pocket right here? So this one probably would work. We could probably do this and do like a side pocket. So I think I'll use wet glue. And then all I'm going to do is just put that there. And then actually I'm going to do on the side right here. Almost forgot. I'm going to seal the pocket. Okay. There we go. So we'll let that dry, and then that will give me a pocket right here, right? And this is something you can use to mark the date, right? That'd be kind of cute. You can put that there. There are journaling cards I'm going to pop in here. There's stickers that I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to do some trim. I'm going to use every single inch of the paper that I have in whatever way that I can, whether it's a pocket, a tag, something. I'm going to use every piece of paper. I only have 4 patterns, and I still think this thing is going to come out great, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That's all the patterns of paper that I have in this album, aside from the little matte papers that I put in here. So I'm going to spend my time decorating the album, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you the finished project and show you how I decorated it. Really simple, so that anybody can do this project, decorate it. It takes no time to do. I did this in less than 2 hours. I would say probably an hour. I did this. I cut everything and had it ready, and then I assembled it for you in front of you guys in 25 minutes. So Thank you for watching. If you like this type of video, make sure you like it. Make sure you're a subscriber, because I would like to do more of these types of tutorials to show you how to use up some products if you're like me that have hoarded, and whether it's paper, which we're going to use, or things like these cards and envelopes, like I have a bazillion of them. I think that's the first thing I want to tackle. So thank you for watching. This is Cindy Cranthart.